share with all of you and also hear your meditations. And this meditation came to me because in this week I encountered 3 young men who were born as in the families of spiritual seekers, and very, very strict followers of spiritual practices. And it was very interesting where I had some deep conversations with them, and I was extremely impressed with their ambition in life. But yet at the same time, there was something in me was questioning the foundation of their ambition, not questioning them, but questioning my understanding of their foundation of their drive and ambition in life. So I thought, why not dive a little deeper into this powerful force that actually moves everything in this world. So I wanted to start this discussion by telling you a small story. And this is a story I have mentioned before, but in a different context. But this is a story of a young prince, 5 years old. His name was Dhruva. And he wanted to be a king. At first, all he wanted to do was sit on his father's lap. But when he was deprived of the opportunity to sit on his father's lap, then this deep sense of force within him was awakened, where he, at the age of 5, became determined to have a kingdom greater than his father. And so where did this come from? And then, of course, subsequently, he goes to the forest, he meditates, and he is given a kingdom greater than his grandfather. So where does this ambition come from in our lives? So in the wisdom text, the yoga text, we study that we have this unique 5 sensory faculties: our sight, smell, what we can hear, taste, and touch. So these are our 5 sensory faculties. And very interestingly, the sense of hearing is the first sense that gives birth to ideas and an ambition in our life. You will notice when you look at the ear looks like the womb of a mother. You see the shape of the ear, you could see like a baby could sit there. Have you ever looked at your ear or look into the shape of the ear? It looks like a baby in a mother's womb. And very interestingly, the wisdom text explains that it is through that ear that gives birth to our ambition in life, and it gives birth to many, many things and many, many unwanted ideas and concepts. From that foundation, we then go on to pursue whatever it is that gave birth through our sense of hearing. And most importantly, I realized that in our lives, the first birth that is given to the ideas, the ambitions in our life is given to us by family that we grow up in. They give us an idea of who we are, what we should be, and what is success, and what is failure, how to be successful. All those ideas have been impregnated through our ears, and then they germinate in our minds for a while, trying to make sense of them. And eventually, those ideas then enter our heart, and it becomes even more, through our intelligence, it becomes even more part of our identity. And it becomes etched in our lives as though that is what we need to pursue. So we notice that all ambitions in life, in life, is triggered by external influences. We see our eyes are protruding and seeing outside, our ears are hearing, our nose, taste, touch, everything is external. So all our ambitions, material ambitions, are derived when the senses are in contact with their sense objects. And this is where our ambition starts, through the senses and their contact. And so what happens is, because the senses are generally considered to be imperfect, so our desires in connection with the sense objects becomes disproportionate. Disproportionate here I mean by saying that we aspire for something, knowing very well that no matter how much we have, we will still want more. So this is why we're using this term, disproportionate desires, because it is all derived from an external connection. It's all coming from outside. Our ambition is derived from outside, and it's not something that is coming from deep within ourselves. And these desires, they become more and more amplified. The more longer we hold on to these desires, they become more and more amplified. And when those desires become amplified, we become, this is what is considered to be ambition, like a strong desire to achieve something in life. So this is what ambition is. So my realization that I'm sharing with you is that all material ambitions is not necessarily our ambition, but it is an ambition that we have derived from the outside. And that is what propels majority of the people in this world. Our ambition is something that we have acquired. And so therefore, this ambition that we have acquired and we just keep pursuing and pushing forth, then it is something that never truly satisfied the true nature of who we are. And in fact, this ambition becomes an addiction. Just talking to those 3 friends of mine, I realize people think that people only can get addicted to drugs, or addicted to alcohol, addicted, there is addiction of so many varieties. And there are some people who are just addicted to making money. It's not because they need the money or they will use it. It's an addiction that they need to fulfill. So ambition becomes an addiction. So addiction has 3 main characteristics. If you study the Bhagavad Gita, in the 14th chapter, I think it's verse number 12, you'll see the beautiful description of the 3 characteristics of addiction. Number one characteristic is an insatiable appetite or an insatiable craving. No matter how much you have, you want more. If you don't have it, you just want it and just want it. And it's just, there's such deep craving inside of you. It's an insatiable craving. That is symptom one of what is an addiction. And the second quality of addiction is that insatiable appetite is so strong that you have no control. So lack of control, that you know that you don't need, billions of dollars. You don't need all this. You don't need a 20-bedroom house. You don't need all this things in your life, but you have to have it because you're being propelled, you're being compelled by something that is beyond your control. So lack of control is the second second quality of someone who's addicted, who has an addictive personality. And the third quality is that even after you face all the consequences and all the obstacles of trying to achieve something, you still want it. For example, someone who's a kleptomaniac, is that how you say it? Kleptomaniac, people who like to steal? I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly. It's not that they haven't been punished. They have been caught, they've gone to jail, and they come back and they steal again. Why? Because it's an addiction. So human beings, by nature, when our ambition in life is derived from external influences, from contact with matter, contact with the material energy, it becomes an addiction to the living entity. And when it becomes an addiction in our lives, we are so out of control, being thrown and tossed in every possible direction, and you completely lose your identity. So addiction basically helps you to lose your identity. So material ambition helps you to lose your identity. Why is this? Because this material ambition is in the mode of passion. The material energy is divided into three categories: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Or goodness, you understand. Passion is also understood very easily. Just have to get things. So this mode of passion, the disposition of this mode of passion, the nature of this mode of passion is not being content with what you have, but is the mind of always wondering what you don't have. So if someone has something you don't have, then you need to have it. This is the mindset of someone in the mode of passion. And generally they explain that this material world is primarily pushed and pulled in all different directions by this mode of passion. That means Leonie has something I don't have, I need to have it. So therefore, we notice that people in this world are constantly pursuing things because there is something that someone has that I don't have. And the probability of that is quite high, that you may not have something that someone else has. Yes, Narayani Devi.
Is that jealousy or envy?
Very good question. It could be both. It could be both. It could be both. But the human nature in the mode of passion. Anyone whose disposition is in the mode of passion, you'll notice, you can gauge yourself, everyone can gauge themselves. They are always seeking what others have. And so therefore, this nonstop acquisition mentality is the dominant force that drives material ambition. It could be something very simple and it could be something very big, but it is the driving force. And so I was just thinking how, talking to my friends, they grew up in a spiritual environment, but they're so motivated in life. They have made millions and they're still making millions and they still want more. And it's not that they just want more, it's just someone has more than them, so they need to have it. And the interesting thing about this mode of passion is that no matter how much you have and you want what others have, by the time you get what others have, there has already been an upgrade. So you're never going to get what others have. For example, say Leonie has a beautiful electric vehicle. She drove me to the airport and someone could say, you know what, Leonie has this amazing vehicle. I need to have what she has. And by the time they work really hard to get what Leonie has already upgraded to the next model. So in the material world, mode of passion, everyone is trying to continuously upgrade to what someone else has. And so this is the mode of passion. And why is this happening? Why is it that human beings, this material ambition, is always trying to get what others have? Why is it? It is because the living entity by nature, the jiva, we the soul, by nature, we are meant to be properly sheltered. And when we don't have proper shelter in our life, then we have a tendency to take shelter of things and hoping those things, those possessions in our lives, and maybe the position, like if I can get to the top position in my company, I will feel that there is proper safety and security. And so because we do not have proper shelter in our lives, we're constantly seeking other ways to find safety and security in our lives. And primarily it is through artificial means and also in connection to material energy, material nature, and matter in its various forms. So this is what happens when our material ambition is the dominant driving force in our lives. So now let's look at the opposite spectrum. The opposite spectrum of someone in the mode of goodness is not driven, their ambition in life is not driven by externals. It is actually driven by understanding and finding one's true gift. What is the unique gift that God has given me? Each and every living entity in this world has a unique gift that no one else has. So how do we access that unique gift that the divine creator has given us? Is step one in the mode of goodness. This is how we find deepest ambition, find out our gift. And the second step is to acknowledging that gift is by appreciating and offering deepest gratitude. And from that gratitude comes this next level of this stage of dependence. That this divine creator, we can depend on him. He's a dependable, he or she is a very dependable person. And that everything in this world is happening. There is a beautiful system. And everything in this world is fair. And once we come to that stage, then ultimately we can come to the stage of surrender. And from that space of surrender, then your ambition comes in from deep source of your relationship with the divine. And that is where ambition in the mode of goodness comes from. Now, someone can say, oh, spiritualists should not have any ambition in life. They should be free of desires, free of any ambitions. Actually, it is not the ambition that is the problem. It is actually the disposition that is the problem. It is not the possession that is the problem. It is how we use that possession in the service of others. And only when you find that deep uniqueness of yourself, then you'll come, instead of ambition, you will be thinking about how to contribute to this world. There will be contribution, a sense of contributing to this world. And what am I offering to this world? I know that many of you have heard this famous slogan by John F. Kennedy, where he says, ask not what you can, what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. So I have heard this slogan before. I have never verified it. I don't know. Is this a JFK statement? Can someone confirm? It's a famous, somewhere I have heard that someone said John F. Kennedy made this popular statement. So there comes a point in your life, your ambition will be about how you can contribute to this world. And that is what ambition, when it is related to contribution, then it is in the mode of goodness. You're not thinking to take, you're always thinking how to give. And that emotion is coming from the heart. The nature of the spiritual heart in its relationship to the divine is always thinking how to contribute. How can I contribute in this situation? How can I make things better? When you're having a disagreement or an argument between two people, you should ask yourself, what mode am I operating in? How can I contribute to this dialogue? And the minute you think about your contribution to this dialogue, there will be a dialogue and not a monologue and not two people clashing and talking to each other's minds, because the heart immediately starts speaking and another heart will start to listen. So this is what spiritual ambition means, and this is what how to activate one's spiritual ambition. And once we operate from that spiritual ambition, then you'll be surprised to know that your world will not be the same. The impact that you'll have in this world is massive, because your unique gift is enough to light the whole world, light up the whole world. Because that spark that you have, only if you are able to share it with the world. And that is what real ambition means. How can I contribute to this world? So, my 30-minute, 25-minute rant has come to an end. I'd like to see if anybody would like to share anything or have any questions for clarifications about ambition in the mode of passion and ambition in the mode of goodness. Ambition in the mode of passion leads to frustration and never-ending dissatisfaction. Ambition in the mode of goodness is a place of spiritual joy and always thinking about contribution.
Hey Veda, this is Victoria. Can I say something?
Of course.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
You look adorable as always. Veda.
Thank you for your
It,
eyes of the heart.
oh, in a very, very, very simplistic term of what you're talking about, as it comes to my mind when my kids were little, and they would see things like who has a Mercedes and who drives a Hummer and who went on great vacations, and we were a very middle class family. Believe me, we had everything we needed, but we weren't driving Hummers and going skiing. And I used to tell them, they were young, and I'd say, look, boys, put on your blinders. There's always going to be fatter and skinnier, smarter and, dumber. Someone's always going to have more and less. Put on your blinders. It doesn't matter. Put on your blinders. And when you put on blinders, that's going to make you look into your heart. Look into who you are. Look into what is good for you. And I know that sounds very simplistic, but as you were talking, it's like going a little deeper into that kind of concept really hit all of your points. Just don't look around, but look at your heart. And when they were looking at their heart and looking at who they were growing up, I think that helped them to be, or that can help a person to be more true to themselves. And it's very simplistic to what you're saying. It probably barely touches the subject, but I think that was the concept I was trying to get to my kids. And I think it's what you're saying.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful, Victoria. The wisdom text, the yoga text are constantly reminding us that as long as we're captivated by things we don't have, which is what we are programmed to do because our senses are constantly seeing and hearing and touching and tasting and smelling all these things outside. So we are constantly being captivated by what we don't have. It's not that you don't even have to choose. It's just the way it's programmed. And so how do we make an effort, conscious effort, to find our unique gift? And everyone has one. And that's the uniqueness of the spiritual practice that we all are trying to find. What is our gift? What do we bring to this world? And each and every one of us, that is what dharma is. Dharma means to find your unique gift and unique purpose that we have in this world. And so, yeah, you're spot on. And the reality of this world is such that when we have material ambition, some of the sages, they use very, very harsh, not harsh, but straightforward words. They say that material ambition is like a cancer. Imagine that. What is a cancer? It destroys you and it destroys everyone around you. Say someone loved one in your life has a cancer. What happens? He pays his money and everyone comes together, super attached to him. Everybody starts pouring out their material wealth to try and heal and cure this person. And this cancer just eats everybody's emotional bandwidth, their financial bandwidth, their intellectual bandwidth, and it just devours it. So that is one definition of cancer. And so this material ambition is like a cancer. Some sages are using this term. And why is it? Because it's spread everywhere. Every aspect of our life is driven by, captivated by what we don't have. She has, what was that perfume? She just walked past. What does she have? I really wonder what she has. Excuse me, ma'am, what are you wearing? And she says, you know, I'm wearing this $1,200 perfume. And you're like, oh my God, I need to have that. It's such simple things, but our mind and our senses, when they're in contact with the sense objects, we're always captivated by something we don't have. And when in our spiritual consciousness, if we start to think of the unique gift that we have, that's all you need. Once you find your gift, there is nothing in this world that you'll want. That is the seat of your own personal spiritual joy. What is it that God sent me here in this world with? What is that precious, the most precious gift that He sent me? Because God, if He's your father and your mother, He's not going to just send you empty-handed. That's not how the Creator creates us. Because the Creator loves us so much, gives you the most precious gift for you. So yeah, it's a very beautiful thing you shared, Victoria. So thank you so much. Kamania, would you like to share something? Because she's a realized soul.
Oh, Krishna. I can only share what I've learned from Realized Souls. It's wonderful to be with you and your Sangha, Vedaji. Thank you, Hare Krishna. I was being reminded as you were speaking and as our friend was speaking of some wonderful advice that our dear brother Gauravani gave to Keshvacharya and I. And it was when we started our Kirtan touring seva going out as a duo, Premahara. And we were working in the studio with Gaura, doing some recording. And yeah, he gave us some really wonderful advice. And he was quoting our teacher, Radhanath Swami, who says, if you can't be happy with a little, you will never be happy with a lot. And this never left me, this advice. And so no matter how many people came to our programs, we could just be grateful for however many wonderful souls was there, whether it was 5 or 55 or 500, we could just be grateful that we could do our service with however many sincere souls were there, as one example. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because it was coming to my mind as you were speaking. If we can be grateful for the gifts we've been given, then we're not feeling a lacking of anything.
Beautiful, beautiful. I will also share this. You just reminded me. I was telling you the story of the prince, Dhruva. And so finally, when he got his kingdom greater than his grandfather's, but by the time he got his kingdom greater than his grandfather's, he found his unique gift. When he found his unique gift, then his conclusion was, everything I have, this kingdom, is nothing but a broken piece of glass. And, you know, when we study this in the Puranas, that North Pole, that pole star that you see in the sky, in Sanskrit is called Dhruva Tara. That is his planet, the planet of this Prince Dhruva. He got that whole planet just for him, greater than his grandfather's. And he says, his conclusion is, this possessions that I have is like pieces of broken glass. So material ambition, you know, it destroys our relationships, it destroys our lives, our friendships, because it's all simply about possessions in the material world and position in this material world. Someone always has more possession than you. Someone always has a position higher than you. And you try so hard. Isn't there some sort of a movie or something? I saw a bumper sticker. What is it? You win it or die trying or something like that. There was some rapper with some and anybody knows what I'm talking about? I saw this slogan. You should, something about die trying, material ambition. You literally die trying to achieve what you want to achieve, materially speaking.
Get rich or try dying.
Yes, thank you, Rama. Get rich or try, what is it? Die trying. This is a very beautiful description of material ambition. 50 Cent. Thank you, John. Okay, any other questions? Anything else anyone wants to share? I'm always told that there's so many people have questions and I don't answer them. So I thought, okay, I'll just speak for 25, 30 minutes and we can have a discussion. Or Keshavacharya Prabhu, share some wisdom with us.
No, I have more question. Like this unique gift you're talking about. And I don't know, it took me many years actually to discover this. So it took me almost 15 years into my spiritual life to actually feel the calling. So I'm asking you how we really can find that, because right now all the places where we're so haunted just by getting the money that we can pay our rent and whatever, and so it's actually hard to this crazy environment to find this unique gift, what it means, like your nature and how to engage yourself.
Mm-hmm. I've seen you in one of your tours. I've never seen you happier, you and Kamania, in my whole life. You came and did this beautiful event with completely brand new people, and you brought about this light with you, and you just opened up the bottle, opened up the box, and you just shared it with everyone, and everyone was just completely lit up with your kirtan. You were flying high spiritually, and I thought, wow, he has found his unique gift. So my realization is that in our spiritual practices, if every single day when we do our sadhana, we just add this one small practice. It's just something I've been working on myself for a while, is to write down what is right in your life. Write down what is right in your life. So write what is right. And make this a daily sadhana practice. And when we start to think of what is right in my life, and we start to write and contemplate, then our whole inner emotions start to shift. And there's this natural feeling of deep inner gratitude. It's such deep sense of gratitude when there's an acknowledgement of all the things that are going right in our lives, because those are special gifts. And just simply by acknowledging it, writing it, and reading it to oneself, that in itself creates this mood of deep gratitude and humility, and it gives us access. It creates the pathway to seeing our true spiritual gift, and that gift of our divine connection with God, with the divine. And then it even becomes more magnified, becomes even more clearer.
So you're saying gratitude. It's the gratitude which creates your gift.
Yes. I feel like if there is gratitude, then there's an acknowledgement of someone other than yourself that is contributing to your life. So it zooms out from our being self-centered to being divine-centered. And as soon as we are divine-centered in our life, we are a whole different being. So in Vrindavan, they have a very famous song. They say, Radha and Krishna, you are doing everything. We are doing nothing. Can you please give us some service? This is how there is a song, it was very common when we were in Vrindavan. They just kept playing this song over and over again and again. You are doing everything. Can you please give us some service so we can do something? Everything is done by you. So this perspective that everything in this world that we have is a very unique gift. And how do we count our blessings every day? And by writing what is right is literally counting your blessings. And the more blessings we count, the more curses are diminished and eradicated from our lives. They become irrelevant because there's more blessings. It outweighs all the curses in our lives. So that is my 2 cents on your realization, Keshava Guru.
Oh, thank you so much. No, beautiful answer.
Thank you, Prabhu. So anyone else has anything else to say? Any other questions? Yes, Narayani Devi.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for such a beautiful class. I have a question because I feel like I had to go through the mode of ignorance, the mode of passion. I had to go through all of these things. I had to be like beaten up to the point of, okay, I surrender, in order to finally get to the place of surrender in the mode of goodness. It seemed like it had to be that way in order for me to get there. I mean, if I'm even there, I don't even know if I'm there. Don't we have to kind of get slung around a little bit by the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance?
Yes. Please keep in mind that suffering is going to come, whether you ask for it or not. Material world means pain and suffering. You don't have to make any extra effort, I promise you that. Just the very nature of being in the material world is going to be discomfort. No effort is needed. So, yes, yoga texts very clearly explains that we're going to be tossed like the waves they toss, they call it a rag doll. Is that a term? Yeah, they just toss them around. So the mature world is going to do that. We don't have to make any extra effort for our suffering and pain. So please, humbly appeal to all of you, don't make any effort to suffer. It's coming. It's always there. But what we have the opportunity is how to be free from this addiction. Addiction means, remember, insatiable craving, lack of control. And the third one was, even after you face all the consequences of your actions, you still want to do it again. So the fact that you went through rehabilitation and you're free from that addiction, you're free. But many people may not be able to go through this process of rehab. And the rehab process in the Bhakti tradition is the sadhana. You don't have to go to a special place. You can sit in your mat, in your room, and do your sadhana every single day. That is a rehab. It's a self-detox mechanism. Because no one can free you from this disease, only you, through your taking shelter of your daily sadhana practices. So, does everybody need to go through it? Some may go through it more, some may go through it less, depending on how deep and aggressive their cravings are, and how much they're willing to try and resist from those cravings, and how much they can learn from the lessons, because the lessons are going to be coming to us again and again and again and again. The lessons don't stop. Till us, we learn our lessons, the same lesson is going to be repeated to us. That's why this world is called samsara. Samsara means the wheel of life. Everything goes in cyclic motion. If you're not beaten down enough by the material energy, you're going to get beaten down. So wisdom means when you resist fighting. That is what wisdom means. It's not that you all of a sudden you have a big realization. You're just too old and exhausted and tired of fighting. But better would be you realize that there is no point in fighting because there's no need for it. The best is simply to take shelter of your daily sadhana and become an observer of everything that's happening within and around you. So thank you so much, Narayani Devi, and thank you all very much for your kind participation and tolerance. And if there is any topics that you would like us to discuss in relation to your heart, please feel free to write to Keshavi or write to Nitai. And any other housekeeping announcements, Keshavi or Nitai?
Not particularly. We have a few seats or a few rooms left at the Connecticut retreat if anybody wants to join us and hasn't signed up already.
Thanks. Nitai, anything from you?
Follow us on Vedji on Instagram and YouTube. Helps grow the community, bring more people, or less, whichever it is. We are grateful to serve, as commonly pointed out. For
I didn't
everyone.
understand.
So,
It says for more or less. I didn't understand.
no, I meant whoever comes more or less, we are very grateful to serve and serve as many people as we can. So yeah. I don't think it came across, I guess.
But the more the merrier, right?
Yeah, the more the better.
Yeah.
A
Should
lot
have
more fun.
He was just saying he's grateful, like Kamania was saying.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
even
absolutely.
You should put Carolina on it, Nitai. She'll be your spokesperson.
I follow you actually straight from when you said. So you get one follow from me and I'll share. But good job. And thank you.
Thank you all very much, beautiful souls. I look forward to seeing you next week. Please bring your hearts, stay in your heart, and follow your heart, and watch your heart, and always keep the divine in your heart. Thank you so much. Namaste, everyone.